Hey, my name's Kerry. Welcome back to my YouTube channel where we talk about all things mindset, motivation, and manifesting. Trust that if this video finds you today, that whatever that thing is that's been troubling you and it's been weighing you down a little bit, that resolution is close. It's on its way. There's hope. Stay true to it, right? Because that thing that you've been struggling with, you're almost at the end of it. It's coming. It's so closer than you think. So hopefully that brings you a little bit of ease today as we dive into our topic of why you've got to be true to you. And what does that mean to you? Probably different than what it means to me, but a little different spin for everybody. But I believe that being true to yourself is acting in a way that aligns with your beliefs, your values, and what you really cherish in this world. Right? That's how you want to show up in this world, how you want to be remembered. What sort of legacy do you want to leave? It's all part of it, right? And the only way that you accomplish those goals and you live in that alignment is living your truth, speaking your truth, even when your voice shakes. Think about times in your life where you may have wanted to say something, but you didn't. And then all of a sudden after that opportunity, whether it was a minute later or an hour later, a day later, you're like, damn, I should have said something. That's about being true to you. Why do you want to be true to you, right? As well as those things. I mean, authentic, living your authentic truth. It's people that live their truth have a higher level of confidence, right? They're more trustworthy, deeper connections in their relationships, overall happier. How does that sound to you? Sounds fantastic to me. And where does that come from? All of those things come as a result of being in alignment and being true to you. So now in order to get there, let's talk about how to get there, right? I'm gonna give you a couple of tools, some examples, some things like that in this video today. So it requires you to get real with you. It requires strength, vulnerability, and finger quotes, it's the work. Right? Y'all hear about what the work is, but what actually is it? I lived for years thinking I was doing the work and I wasn't even scratching the surface. And then after moving through separation and divorce and kind of coming through some of those tough moments, those darker chapters, that's what really revealed to me what the work is. And that's what I want to share with you so that hopefully before you dive into those dark chapters, we can get that work done before it gets there. And if you're in those dark chapters right now, hopefully it helps you out as a way of navigating through that. All right, so it requires you asking some really tough questions and having those conversations with yourself. What do you really want? Like in every single area, with your health and fitness, like what does that mean to you? Right? What's living your truth? Is it being healthy, energetic? Is it, or an alternative to that? Whatever that is, it's like truly. And you know that the answer to that question is in alignment because it feels good in your heart. It brings you peace to think, yeah, that's my truth. Not, well, I probably should do a little more of this or that, or probably shouldn't be doing this. You know you're in your truth when you feel good about it, right? Whether that's going for walks. And that's why I do videos outside, right? It's my truth. It's like connecting with nature. It's nothing like anything else like it. So, and in relationships, how do you want to show up in a relationship? How do you want to love? What does love mean to you? What does caring mean to you? How do you want to expose and be in that relationship to expose yourself to receiving love and kindness? 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 25 years from now, how do you want to be remembered in the relationships that you're in? Whatever role that is, as a partner, as a parent, as a friend, all of those different things. And when you finally sit and answer those questions, not the answers that society tells you you should have, or you should be this, you need to do this. Screw that. What does it mean to you? And own it. That's where your power comes from. That's a powerful place to live. That's so liberating, free. That's what it's about. One of my favorite quotes from Kurt Cobain, right, is, I would rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not. Think about that. Man, is that powerful, right? And even in some of the people that I've worked with this past week, there was a conversation I had where it's a guy was getting back into the dating game after years of not being in, being in after being married for years, and then come back in and being scared, right? What does that look like for me? I don't know what to say, what to do. And so with some of these experiences and going out on dates and this, and it's like, well, I went out on a few dates and then she didn't get back to me. I felt like things were going good, but then I didn't hear back from her. And in exploring that conversation with him, it's like, well, we went to a restaurant and I thought she would really like it, but I don't usually go there. But I wanted to impress her. Or I usually talk about like the things that I was totally, that I'm passionate about, that I love. I didn't talk about a lot of them because I didn't want her to think that it was, weird, or some of my hobbies weren't that cool. Or I thought she was into this and this, so I thought I would, do some homework on that in advance and be that. And then after, when she doesn't phone him back, and he's like, I should have done this. I should have just been me. Yeah, you know what? You're damn right. You should have been you. Because now you're like, well, she didn't like who I was trying to pretend to be, but I wonder if I was actually me, how that would have worked out. Where are the areas in your life where that's shown up? At work, in friendships, relationships, and most importantly, when you look in the mirror, are you being true to you? Because when you finally step into that, and it comes from detachment from outcomes, detachment from validation, all of those things that we think we need from everybody else. You don't need shit from anybody else. You need to be solid in who you are and own it, and knowing that you cannot be enough for the wrong person, and you will always be more than enough for the right people. That's the beauty of it. And you only get to that confidence, that state, that freedom by being who you are. And I want to come back, even like job interviews. I mean, I remember job interviews when I was a kid and before, and I would roll in and I'd think, what do they want to hear from me? What do they want me to say in order for me to get this job? How do I get their approval? How do I check the boxes for them? And then on the ones, jobs that I didn't get, and it's like, man, I should have said this, I should have done this, I shouldn't have answered this, because I wasn't comfortable with those answers. And when we even backpedal it a little bit, or not backpedal, but fast forward into the world of employment now as a business owner and different things, the interviews that I do with people for positions with the companies that I have, it's not about, checking the boxes and doing this and doing that. It's about, are they showing up? What's their vibe like? Is this person someone that resonates with me, that can be who I want to be, and that energy within the companies? I put so much more weight on that. And are they being themselves? Are they answering questions comfortably? And are they owning it? Right? And if I ask them a question they don't know anything about, it's like, I don't have the answer for that, but I'll find it. Or I want to know more about it, or I don't know about that. Like, how true are they? How authentic are they? That carries leaps and bounds more importance to me than how many degrees you have, or can you answer their question right, check the boxes. So anyways, I want to tell you a story. And I heard this story that was it really encompasses this whole concept about being true to you. There was a couple married for like 70 years. And I think that the number was 70 for sure. And they had little traditions, and people would talk to them and they would go, what's the key to being married for that long and success? And of course, there's all the cliche things that people talk about all the time. Oh, it's this, it's that, and joke about it and everything else. I think that's a whole nother video, but diving into the things that people joke about that actually sends messages down to our younger generations that's what it's actually supposed to be like. But we'll come into that. We'll come back to that another day. So this couple's married for 70 years, and they finally, they're celebrating their 70 years. It's a big party. And there was an exercise that they did where write down on a piece of paper something that you don't mind, that you enjoy doing in service, that that your partner enjoys. But maybe if you could change it, I would probably pick something else. But it's not a deal breaker. It's not the end of the world. And what would that be? And they both write it down on a piece of paper, put it down, slide it across the table, and then they read what that is. And they both wrote the same thing. And here's the deal with this. And it's so crazy. And those of you if you watch my other videos, I'll just show you. See, there's the words, right? Strength, health, clarity, abundance, drinking it in. If you know what that is, send me a message if you don't know what I'm talking about. So they pass these papers across, they both read them at the same time. And they both wrote exactly. Turns out they had a tradition that every week they would go out for dinner with each other, right? Hey, great, date night, right? Great idea, right? And they would always go out for seafood because it's something they both enjoyed. They talked about what was going on in the week, and all those things about being connected was absolutely brilliant. But what they both wrote down on the paper was that neither one of them liked seafood. They went out every week for seafood with each other because that's how they wanted to show up in the relationship. They said, I know it means a lot to them, so I'm not going to say anything about it because I know it means a lot to them and that's important to me. So I'm going to put my happiness or joy a little bit on the back burner, and I'm going to do something I don't want to do because it's happening to them. Now, I agree that there's a point where we do things out of service in the relationships that we're in because it brings us joy and happiness to do that. But what if at one point, over 70 years, either one of them said, hey, you know what? I enjoy going out for dinner with you. And I know that you really love seafood, but I'm good for a change or switching it up a little bit. It's like, there could be other things that I might enjoy a little better. What if they did that 69 and a half years ago? Think about all they not only enjoying their time together, but just how many more different experiences they had. And instead of not kind of really living their truth and speaking up a little bit, because we're taught to be selfish in this world, or we're taught not to be selfish. And I think we should be a little more selfish, where it comes back where even as a kid, where we're sitting around and you have it's the last little bit of candy or something like that you have, and there's 3 pieces and there's 4 friends. What are you taught to do? Give it to your 3 friends. Where I think there's other solutions, right? Where everybody could be happy. We could maybe cut them up or divvy them up. But ultimately, that first reaction is to give it away. Your happiness is not important as the other people around you. And the problem with that is if everybody in the world does that, we have a world full of unhappy people. And I don't think we're that far off right now when it comes to really are people fulfilled and happy and joy. And where that comes from is you owning who you are. What is your truth? And speak your truth and live your truth, whatever. If there's someone ask you, hey, you want to go out for dinner? Yeah, I'd love to. What are you thinking about? Well, if they ask that, give them a few ideas and answer from what you want, not from what you think they want. It's speaking your truth when your voice shakes. When someone has an opinion that's different than you, being able to share your opinion, not from a point that theirs is wrong. They have just as much freedom to express themselves and live their truth as you have to yours. I've always said to my kids and all the teams that I've coached, whether it's lacrosse or hockey or clients that I work with, as long as your truth is not at the expense of someone or something, live it, have a good time, enjoy it, right? And know that if it is at the expense of someone or something, well, you're just in the wrong crowd, right? Move. You're not a tree. Move. So, what happens if we don't live our truth? What happens if we're not true to ourselves? Well, as the few examples that I've shared, in this video so far, but you live a life of coulda, woulda, shoulda, didn't. A life of resentment, a life of regret, thinking, oh, if I just would have spoken up at that time, if I just would have done this, if I wasn't worried that everybody, what they would have thought of me for sharing this, and would have stepped into it, who knows what would have been different, right? And they talk about people on their deathbeds and the biggest regrets they have. The regrets they have are not from things that they did. It's from things that they didn't do. I should have spent more time with these people. I should have started that business. I should have asked that person out in grade 6. It's like, it's crazy. So step into it. Listen to your intuition. Feel that vibe. When that calling is there, that push to do something, to say something, to do it. That's what it's about. And I even I'll come back to a quick example today. I was meeting a friend for coffee today in a coffee shop. While I'm waiting for my coffee, my buddy's sitting over at the table. And I noticed that there's a table of 4, I don't know, they're like high school kids, maybe college-ish, 18-ish, I'll say. And there's 4 of them sitting in the booth of the bench, and there was one guy standing up. outside the bench. And I was like, man, why is he standing there? And first I didn't know if he was there, but yeah, like after waiting for my order to come up and they were like sitting there hanging out, and I'm like, man, I should say something, or get him a chair, and get a chair. And then I stop. I'm like, oh no, like that's none of my business. I should leave him alone. And then I'm like, no, that intuition, do it, man. Be kind to people, right? The worst he's going to say is, no, I don't want a chair, right? So I went and grabbed the chair, came over, gave it, and the look, he was like, wow, like, thanks, man. I'm like, yeah, you're welcome. And then I just went back, grabbed my coffee, went and sat down. But it's about listening to those little things. Maybe it made his day, right? That someone saw him, because maybe he's standing up there and he's like, oh, my 4 friends have the seats and I don't. And so I'm less than, or they don't care about me. Who knows what that story is? We don't know. But I know that by giving him a chair, it made him feel seen, right? Important. And even if that doesn't need to come from me, maybe he didn't even care. Who knows? Probably doesn't. But for me, it's because I wanted to be that. That's my truth. Be kind to people. And especially living your truth is about doing the right thing, doing things that are true to you when there's no one else around, when no one else is watching. So, yeah, I am grateful for you. I am grateful for this beautiful spring day. One day you'll see some future videos and there'll be some leaves on these trees, some birds flying around. Can't wait for that. But if you enjoyed this video, please, like it. Subscribe to my channel. This is what it's all about. It's about becoming a better version of ourselves, right, through the experiences that I've had and sharing those to shorten that time that you don't have to touch the stove to realize that you're going to get burned on that. And that's what it is. So like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you know when I put out new videos, and let's grow together. That's what this is about. And if you're interested in working with me, if you have questions about what we talked about today, you can click on the links down below or go to my website, kerrykish.com. Find out different ways. There's group programs that I have. There's single parenting courses. There's man to men. Men becoming better men through vulnerability and, from a point of growth and embracing that as opposed from being a victim. And find out, DM me if you're curious what that looks like. So, and again, I told you what I'm grateful for, this beautiful spring day and being able to get outside and share. So share in the comments what you're grateful for. I'd love to hear that. And as we move forward, I'll see you in the next video, but sending peace, love, and positive vibes your way. See you in the next video.